Good afternoon and welcome to this webinar organized by the LoRa Alliance. My name is Rémi Demerlet and I am with Semtech in marketing for LoRa. Here, as leader of the vertical of utilities for the LoRa Alliance, I'm very happy to moderate this webinar about smart water management in Europe. We have in this webinar the three usual components of any IoT solution and devices, network, and integration of data with system integrators. We have also, and this is something new we will see in this webinar, something that is promising to be a revolution with an amazing combination of IoT, LoRaWAN, and new technology of blockchain applied to water management. As we are working with the same LoRaWAN protocol called by the LoRa Alliance, let's begin this webinar by introducing what is uniting us here. LoRa Alliance is a non-profit association of more than 500 members. It was launched in 2015, so we are celebrating the 5th anniversary. And it's supporting, indeed, the LoRaWAN protocol that is standing among the leading technology for low-power wide area networks. The role of LoRa Alliance consists in the development and maintenance of this protocol. The LoRa Alliance is one of the fastest growing ecosystems in the IoT. And today there are more than 135 million of connected devices using the same radio LoRa, and more than 137 LoRaWAN operators having deployed networks in many countries. Let's see more now in the value chain, from silicon to solutions. Every journey for IoT with LoRaWAN starts by connecting things by development of LoRaWAN devices, where the hardware designer can choose either a LoRa transceiver or a LoRaWAN module. And then using this LoRaWAN modem for collecting measurements with devices and sending to network covered by gateways installed on the field. LoRaWAN network server are forwarding data to application server in the cloud or platform. All solutions can be a choice of different suppliers for gateways, devices, or even network operators. System integrators help end user to leverage on the benefit of this flexibility. And this is how LoRaWAN enables smart connectivity for millions and millions of devices, from small to very large deployments. There is also security that is ensured with a robust and standard encryption mechanism with two security keys that help operator to secure network authentication of devices, and another key to ensure confidentiality between the device and the application server to protect confidentiality and privacy of data for the end user, independently from the chosen network operator. Many applications can be supported with LoRaWAN. For the vertical, there are many verticals supported by the LoRa Alliance. This is the upside of having an open network protocol like LoRaWAN with numerous suppliers. But with its unique certification as specified by the LoRa Alliance, the end user benefits from a standard de facto, which ensures interoperability on network level, allowing same device to work on any network. This technology provides also very good savings for the end user to benefit from the mutualization with the same network infrastructure, several applications, and we will see examples in this webinar, can be supported by same operator with professional services. Just to say a few words about the smart water meter market. Among largest volume, the vertical of utilities stands high in terms of number of connected devices. with the smart water meters being the leading application for LoRaWAN by far compared to all other LP1 technologies. If the electricity meter market is the largest in volume, smart water is the fastest in annual growth rate. Over the next 5 years, there will be more than 29 million of new shipments in 2024, according to IoT Analytics. So the market is big, but requirements are very high for water metering because of the water meters are installed for a very long period, typically 15 years or more, and they are of course battery powered. So far, the long battery life and the condition of deep indoor are among the most difficult challenges in the IoT. And this is exactly why the LoRa radio has been designed and has been made available by Semtech since 2012. Now, joining us to talk more about the advantages of LoRa for the solutions in the water industry, it's my pleasure to welcome Alberto Ventura from A2A Smart City, Pierre-Emmanuel Dubois from Birdz of Veolia, Adrian Fuchs from Swisscom, Sasha Hofer from Aqua Metro of Integra Group, and Gregor Fluder from GWF. Plus, as a special guest, we invited SWAN Association, who has nominated Frederick Ryan as expert of Frost & Sullivan. Now, without any further delay, Alberto, I will pass the presentation over to you.
Thank you very much, Remy, and good afternoon to everybody. I am Alberto Ventura, and I work in A2A Smart City. A2A Smart City is the innovation service provider in the A2A Group. A2A Group is the biggest Italian multi-utility company at the top of the production, sale, and distribution of gas and electricity, district heating, environmental services, and the integrated water cycle. Its business areas are attributable to the business line illustrated in these slides: energy, environmental, smart city, networks, heat and services, and water. For each business line, there is different companies, and A2A Smart City cover the line in the smart city vertical. As a member of the LoRa Alliance, A2A Smart City has the capability to design LoRaWAN networks and create LoRaWAN infrastructure which meets the standards set by the Alliance. For LoRa and the open and innovative radio frequency and narrowband metropolitan infrastructure represents a formidable opportunity to develop smart cities. About smart metering, we can see that the regulatory changes with regards to remote reading of gas meters, but also of water meters, have encouraged A2A Smart City to understand the use of the technology in order to increase the number of the smart meters connected and increase the number of the use cases for collecting field information. A2A Smart City joined the LoRa Alliance as a sort of network generator, developing LoRaWAN coverage across the main cities of the Lombardy and the implementation of different kind of services. In the last few years, the number of A2A smart meters has increased significantly, exceeding 1 million units for the gas meters and more than 1,000 of gateways. In fact, A2A Smart City manage the infrastructure, manage the network server, and manage also the application server in some use cases. We can go to the next slide. Thanks. In these slides, we want to represent the coverage in an area. On the left, we have the 4 the four big cities in Lombardy, Milano, Bergamo, Brescia, and Cremona, where we manage smart metering for water, but also for gas. And we can see the position and the level of the coverage about our radio planning tool. A2A Smart City has been working from the last years to develop smart services for the territory and to enable us to develop network coverage for the city, for all the city in the Lombardy. The radio planning tool represents for us the start for the project, and also during the execution of the project, we can manage the optimization of a network. Now we can start to speak about two projects in two defined areas in the Lombardy and in two projects with water company. In the next slides, we speak about A2A Ciclo Idrico. A2A Ciclo Idrico is the water company in Brescia and is a water company of A2A Group. A2A Ciclo Idrico is the company that manages the water distribution of the city of Brescia and many municipalities in a large province, more than 1 million inhabitants. Has already replaced over than 30,000 meters, and the performance in terms of remote reading of this meter is 95%, where the communication from each meters are such as to guarantee the display of the hourly consumption for each user, and therefore the provision of the billing system suitable for real consumption, for real-time consumption, and not for an estimated consumption. This project was useful for us to understand the meteorological performance of the meters. In fact, we use different kind of meters, mechanical, ultrasonic, or electronic meters. And it is also important to understand what type of network, what design of the network we have to use to apply, to enable the communication also in the most difficult situation. The installation, in fact, of the meters are both in the city, but also in extra-urban area, and also the position of the meters is not the same, indoor, outdoor, or deep indoor in some cases. The network that we use for enable the smart metering service for A2A Ciclo Idrico is also the same network that we use in Brescia and in other municipalities for enable other kind of services, such as smart parking, such as smart environmental monitoring, and also other kinds of smart city services. For us, this is a really useful kind of project, because for us the network is a multi-service layer network infrastructure. Okay, we can go to the last slide. I tried to speak about another project in another city in Lombardy, Cremona, and other municipalities. Padani Acque is the water company in Cremona, in the province of Cremona. And in this project, that is the first LoRaWAN smart water project in Italy that we manage with Birdz. Let's speak about this project in the next step. It is a solution that for A2A Smart City can manage. A2A Smart City have to manage the smart metering services. More than 3,000 domestic water meters located in 25 municipalities, more than 500 pressure monitors devices on other municipalities with a location in different places. A2A manage the part of the communication infrastructure and also of the network server in Cremona and in other municipalities. The infrastructure was created to enable the communication to all the devices. The infrastructure is based on public assets or private assets in order to enable each devices in every place. The operation started in 2018, and now we are in an advanced management phase, and the number of the smart meters is expected to increase. The consortium is led by Veolia with A2A, Birdz, Jest, Omnicom, and Schneider. I think that in this image, you can see a different color on each smart meter representing the performance of the communication. But we can also see the gateways for have a correct view of all the project. I think that I have finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alberto. So my name is Pierre-Emmanuel Dubois. I'm working in international business development at Birdz. So Birdz provides environmental smart solutions for industrial IoT. As a 100% subsidy of the Veolia Group, Birdz is the IoT digital competence center of the group, serving clients such as municipalities, commercial or industrial companies inside and outside of the group. Our domain of expertise lies in environmental verticals, monitoring on daily basis environmental data such as water, temperature, humidity, waste collection, indoor air quality, and others. We operate more than 3 million connected devices every day through various LP1 technologies, notably Birdz Legacy and LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN, in that case, LoRaWAN's fast deployment represents a significant booster for smart water services adoption and enables a more effective water service at a managed cost. Currently, Veolia Birdz are deploying in France over 3 million smart water sensors in the next 10 years on a public LoRaWAN network through Orange and powered by Actility. Next slide, please. So as Alberto was mentioning it earlier, just a word on Padania-Acque. So Birdz has developed strong strategic partnerships with LoRaWAN operators and device manufacturers in France and abroad. To illustrate this partnership dynamic at Birdz, we have developed an Italian consortium with Veolia and A2A Smart City in order to deliver for the public water utility of Padania-Acque, the first LoRaWAN smart water network project deployed in Italy. The objective of this project was to improve the monitoring of drinking water quality and to optimize the hydraulic model of pipe pressure control in order to reduce electricity bill on pumping stations. So for this project, we have deployed and operated 150 LoRaWAN gateways rolled out on more than 1,500 square meters, 2,000 smart water meters, 450 pressure devices, and 50 CAPTA probes. In terms of results, we have reduced the energy bill by 25%, as well as optimized the network connectivity OpEx. If you can move to the next slide, please. So CAPTA. CAPTA is Birdz smart water quality solution. Monitoring water quality is crucial for water utilities and municipalities as they have a commitment to permanently deliver a high level of water quality from production to end customer. Monitoring water quality improves knowledge and control of drinking water networks. It reduces also the potential risks in case of incidents on the water networks to avoid, for instance, hydraulic shocks. It alerts also on contaminations. So how do we measure water quality? Well, basically, the World Health Organization has defined key parameters for the monitoring of drinking water, including conductivity, which helps tracing the origins of the different water supply sources and detecting accidental pollutions. Absolute pressure for detection and analysis of incidents, and temperature, notably for measuring the bacteriological development and avoid deterioration of the water quality. So as you can see on the picture, CAPTA is basically directly installed inside the piping systems. It is fully autonomous in energy and connected through mobile connectivity, 2G and 3G, or Birdz proprietary network, HRNet. CAPTA has been deployed in 12 countries, notably in France, and protects in France only around 8 million people. CAPTA has been rolled out for large international venues and events, such as Euro Disney in Paris for the COP21, and in London 2012 Olympic Games. It was actually scheduled to be deployed in Japan Olympic Games, but COVID-19 came through this. Next slide, please. Because water is a drinking resource, ensuring a high level of water quality is a must for water utilities. It's basically a matter of trust towards end consumers. With the rise of IoT system and remote monitoring came as threats the authenticity of digital information. Basically, does the information I see on my dashboard real or not? This very question has driven new needs for IoT system for quality monitoring. As a consumer, I need to trust my supplier. I need to know that the water I drink is safe. Ensuring end-to-end quality, traceability from source to tap motivates the high requirements of water utilities to use secured IoT system end-to-end. Next slide, please. Beyond radio encrypted technologies, LUKA precisely addresses this need for traceability and authentication in IoT systems, which are basically two major KPIs for efficient cybersecurity policies. Basically, LUKA is based on the same CAPTA system, but it is enriched with a data and network security component enhanced by blockchain, which allows to trace and again authentify data packets and transactions. It's co-constructed with Ledger. So how does that work, basically? There are two levels of data encryption. First level is through LoRaWAN protocol, and the second one through Ledger. As soon as data decryption is carried out and that the data is authenticated, it is then sent to blockchain through Ledger. By design, blockchain ensures data traceability and non-alteration, and helps authentify that a certain data came from a specific module and probe. From the client's point of view, what he sees is traced. What are the differences between LUKA and CAPTA? Well, LUKA is a secured OEM package combined with LoRaWAN for the CAPTA system. So it offers lower consumption, enhanced frequency of data transmission, a facilitated integration, and it supports more measuring probes. Next slide, please. At Birdz, we believe our expertise can raise the bar of network and data security for smart water businesses. Beyond smart water, we believe it's our role to offer such innovation to other business verticals, to the LoRa Alliance ecosystem. Packaged in a security as a service offering, LUKA is a fantastic opportunity to secure new types of IoT use cases and customers. LUKA targets clients who consider data and network protection highly critical. examples such as in use cases such as temperature tracking in pharma on biotech industries, for instance. LUKA is based on an in-house Birdz OEM reference design. So it incorporates a Birdz Insight technology so that this module can be embedded into third-party devices and in a complete white label mode. The LUKA system is sold with components and a solution. So basically there is a CapEx part for hardware, including a secure element, and an OpEx part for ledger OEM subscription. This is a call to join forces and collaborate for more secure IoT use cases with LoRaWAN. You seize business opportunities for IoT data and network security in other verticals. Contact Birdz. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Pierre-Emmanuel. My name is Adrian, and I've been working in the business development at Swisscom's IoT team for 5 years now, mostly on the LoRaWAN topic. Almost 4 years ago, we have started the rollout of our LoRaWAN network in Switzerland. Our network covers currently 97% of the Swiss population, and it is Switzerland's only nationwide and professionally managed LoRaWAN network, including a 24/7 support service. Next slide, please. Even though we already have a nationwide coverage, some of our customer use cases require a densification. Therefore, we offer, especially for cities and utilities, the option for densification in certain regions and locations to support any use case from deep indoor to underground constellations. Next slide, please. Based on our experience and best practice, we have designed a module-based approach to support utilities throughout the whole journey of their IoT project, starting with finding a suitable device, which is going to be implemented in our network. Second step is the management of the device, which involves the decoding and storage of metadata. And last but not least, we assist with the part on how to utilize the metadata by integrating it into SAP or other control systems used by utilities. And now I would like to pass on to one of our dear partners, Aquametro, who is going to talk a bit more from the user perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. My name is Sascha Hofer. I'm working for Aquametro now for some time. We are one of the major Swiss manufacturers specialized in domestic water metering. But of course, this is not the only thing we do. Both we and also GWF, which you are going to hear afterwards, are having a vast experience in data management and integration of water meter from the meter up to our client system. This includes portfolio of hardware, software, and the related consulting and project management services. We understand ourselves as partners for our clients in their IoT journey. Now, to talk about the customer landscape, it's a little bit as heterogeneous as the mountains which we've seen from Adrian before. Let me just explain a little bit about that. In Switzerland, there are over 2,000 water suppliers treating the water networks. Their sizes vary a lot. There are just having over 100,000 consumers down to suppliers with less than 500. However, only a handful are having 100,000 or more consumers. Most of the suppliers in Switzerland treat just a few hundred or thousand customers and have only a small amount of personnel, sometimes ranging from a single responsible up to a few employees. The meter situation in Switzerland is in a way that because of the regulations, it's done for longevity. Swiss water meters are long-living devices, typically installed for 15 years and often even longer. Because of this and the fact that digitalization has long been recognized as a trend, our mechanical meters have already been equipped with possibilities to be extended with digital communication technology for years. Newer ultrasonic meters are already equipped with smart water technology from the start. If you ask about the typical solutions we deploy today, this is mainly to integrate mechanical and ultrasonic meters with radio to walk-by, drive-by readout, so that you can do billing and simple diagnostics to manage your water network. But the possibilities for advanced analysis and monitoring are rather limited with such a solution. There are a few good reasons to build up an advanced smart water metering solution, of which Gregor is going to explain you more later on. If you decide to go for an advanced metering system, this requires to change from a simple walk-by, drive-by solution to a permanent fixed network setup. However, the technical effort to handle this is not to be underestimated. The water suppliers need to have the meters capable of providing the required data and able to transmit. The client needs to manage the connectivity, and he needs to handle the data afterwards, each an own task. As a water supplier, you will need to decide if and where you want to invest your scarce resources. Do it yourself. This means a big initial investment and taking all the risk in terrain which you may not have know-how. Let everything be provided by a single provider, risk of too much dependency, and vendor lock-in. Water suppliers often give a lot of credit to remain independent, so they opt for a heterogeneous solution which sets an open standards and open protocols. LoRaWAN delivers here a good option because it is open and supported by many different vendors. One of the biggest obstacles we encounter when talking about advanced meter reading solutions to our clients is the connectivity and the associated efforts. Providing advanced to get the radio network running, the necessary connectivity has usually to be built up from the start. The effort to provide the connectivity, even with advanced radio technologies like LoRa, is often underestimated, and the lack of resources and know-how is therefore a major impediment for small and mid-sized water suppliers. And here, the availability of a radio network connectivity and professional services as provided by Swisscom with LoRa allows easier deployment of LoRa-capable meters. It saves the clients the first big investment in connectivity and creates new opportunities for our clients to profit from this technology without the need to set up the connectivity themselves. This lowers the entry barrier by a great deal and permits the use of advanced metering solution also for smaller water supplies. This enables us to do more business based on LoRaWAN today. Next sheet, please. Here, I'm showing you an example of a LoRaWAN project which we execute together with Swisscom, where we could deliver directly integrated LoRaWAN capabilities with our meters. They are installed in the normal process of exchanging the meters. There is a regular interval. And the advantage here for the client is actually he used directly the possibilities, the connectivity provided by Swisscom, and he could continue to use his existing meter setup. He did not have to change, and he could build on top of what he has already installed and can extend his situation with LoRaWAN capabilities without breaking or without leaving away what he had before. So this permits the use to the possibility to evolve instead of replace everything and keep the investment at a manageable level. Thank you.
Thanks, Sasha. My name is Gregor Vlodder. I work for GWF. GWF was founded in Lucerne at 1899 as a manufacturer of gas and water meters. Our LoRaWAN wireless modules are designed for our GWF quarter and which can use for our gas and water meters. Our water meters have been ready for LoRa for many, many years, but First, we have to develop our wireless LoRa module. Next, please. This shows a little bit, or shows again, the IoT journey we see today. We have on the bottom on the right side, many of our customers, they read out the water meters manually or with a visit on site or by radio drive-by, and then they can import the data into our billing system, and this convert the data to the customer data platform. Now we have the opportunity to go for LoRa, and herefore we have our developed our special module, which can easily then connect to our GWF coder. Then the customer have to decide to set up his own gateway or to connect to the existing one from Swisscom, which we know now it's 70% coverage of the Switzerland. This measurement can be visualized by themselves or by a third party, or also by our MyWF platform. And however, the journey now it's not finished, because our customer would like to have the data back to the customer data platform, and then we have to export it again and to convert it to his ERP software. And for our customer, another important point is it's not that easy to switch from one day to the other day to do the rollout of the LoRa system. This takes several years. We know now the cycle is mainly 15 years to change all the water meters, and that's a growing process, mainly to move from a drive-by system into a LoRa system. Next, please. If our customer uses the LoRa only 1 or 2 times a year for entering the billing data, LoRa maybe not be the perfect solution for this customer, because with LoRa we can monitoring much more frequently and give much higher benefit to our customer. We have here several examples for that. We can do it, the water quality monitoring we saw also before. We could do some level monitoring in reservoirs. Are there enough reservoirs? If not, can a small or steady leakage be the reason? And this can be found better with area-wide monitoring. Even with the water temperature monitoring systems, problems can be detected at an early stage. We also have interesting applications in Switzerland in isolated places where the accessibility is not possible 360 days a year because of snow or whatever. And of course, it would be probably easier if you have this LoRa network. And as we all know, there are many, many more possibilities we could do with LoRa or what LoRa offers. Thanks. Next.
Thank you. This is Frederick Rowan, and I represent Frost & Sullivan. And been with Frost for 15 years, started as an analyst and now lead a program on sustainability and the circular economy. I also am representing the Smart Water Network Forum, and I'm a member of the advisory council of SWAN. SWAN is a non-profit member organization of around 200 members, driving the agenda of smart water solutions, especially in utilities. Just wanted to share a few of thoughts on smart water within the utility space. So looking at the future of water, we see this to be sourced, supplied in a sustainable manner, using intelligent, connected, and a responsive digital framework. And it connects to various points that has been presented by the various panelists in the preceding presentations. And we see three key enablers or levers when we look at the future of water. Sustainability and circular economy are definitely going to drive the shape and form of technology deployments in the water sector. We see net zero target, which is the vision of the EU, but also individual countries. And the UK, the water sector is aiming to achieve net zero by 2030. The second lever is risk and resilience. Risk and resilience both in terms of assets, but also in terms of leakages. And leakage is a well-documented topic, and the significant non-revenue water losses and challenges that poses to water utilities is significant, to the extent of around 40% of non-revenue water that's lost by water utilities. The current pandemic, however, has brought a recalibration of risks. Some utilities have had up to 60% of their staff working remotely, and the challenge of ensuring a critical service of water and wastewater service is extremely challenging for utilities, especially for those who haven't invested in digital solutions in the past. And this is catalyzing some change in thinking. And many utilities are now looking at this as a priority area of how they can leverage IoT in both improving efficiencies, but also in driving change in terms of remote monitoring and management. So the bottom line that we see as a transformative change is digital transformation. Data, and this is where sensors comes to play, as well as the communication networks, forms the foundation to this. So the digital strategy or digital transformation we see is going to encompass 4 pillars: policies, processes, platforms, and people. The all-important element of how do you ensure the skills that are needed in the workforce are there to utilize the digital solutions, as well as making sure that the outputs from these solutions are deployed in an effective manner. So our estimate is, of course, the overall market is around $20 billion, and this is for the overall smart water grid market. And one of the key reasons why we see this as significantly growing is what we call as the digital productivity bonus. In some cases, can be more than 5 to 10%, depending on the deployment that's being done. And our forecasts of smart water meters, for example, in Europe, estimates that by 2040, each and every household in Europe will be equipped with a smart water meter. Next slide, please. So what do we see as the core elements of digital transformation of the water sector? What do we see the change and the transformation enablers? The shift that we're going to see from products is more towards services and outcomes. Data as a service, the business model of data as a service, and how that can catalyze further deployment of sensors, especially in utilities which could struggle in investing in solutions such as sensors, and business models such as data as a service can become quite important. Performance contracting could also be an important lever, but water as a service, I think, is a business model that we see increasingly going to be deployed to accelerate change when it comes to digital transformation in the water sector. A shift from analog to digital, and the use of the smart water grid and how it's going to look into demand response solutions, and looking at LoRa as an example as well, from closed to open innovation platforms, which brings about co-creation and compatibility. I think that is quite an exciting and a transformative element within the digital element of bringing together various players into an ecosystem to co-create and develop digital solutions, and links into the collaboration element, where partnerships and collaborations and skill sharing are quite important in developing and deploying digital solutions. As some of the examples I've mentioned, the entire end-to-end approach as well, a look at a system thinking as well, which is lacked in the water sector. With digital, I think this brings together this thinking as well, the systems thinking and the end-to-end approach of looking at it in an integrated manner, and looking at solutions, how they can address problems in an integrated manner is quite an exciting proposition as well. The example of the Birdz solution, where blockchain and the first innovation when it comes to water quality and the deployment of blockchain. I think going forward, security is going to be quite an important element within digital transformation in the water sector. And we would see even further increasing role of solutions such as blockchain in the area of track and trace and ensuring security, especially when we start looking at examples of water trading going forward. Next slide, please. And just to summarize, I would like to use a five-layer smart water network image. And this is quite a symbol of the smart water network forum, and is a framework which is used by many of the utilities in how they both understand, develop, as well as start building a digital transformation strategy within the utilities. And to summarize the presentations by the various panelists, if you look at A2A, the key element or the critical importance of sensors and the value that it provides from the end-to-end coverage is really quite important to highlight. We've seen the innovative nature of the blockchain solution, especially with water quality going to become even more important going forward. And the solution of Birdz really has the potential to transform the entire track and trace and security element. Swisscom and the 97% coverage in Switzerland, and the investment it's made in the fixed network and how it's extending the value-added services such as data visualization. And this also shows how some of these assets can really be taken further in terms of bringing additional value to the customers. Also, within Europe, one of the key challenges is the highly fragmented water utility service market, as it were. And as examples of Aquametro and GWF have highlighted in these presentations, I think the important need of having flexible solutions and also solutions which are adaptable and extend various applications, not just from metering, but also into water quality, but also the critical element of customer billing. So overall, I think the LoRaWAN is set to play a transformative role in advancing the common goal of sustainability, which is an encompassing a target of the water industry globally. Over to Remy. Thank you.
Excellent. We are getting to the end of the presentation, but you remain with us. We will address the Q&A. Just before that, I want first to thank all the speakers. That was really exciting to have this journey over different experiences. As said, we celebrate the 5th anniversary, so we are invited, of course, to join us in this physical event. And nothing prevents to plan this. There will be numerous speakers, panels, one especially about protect water. So you will find more information on the website. Now, we have many questions already, 6 of them have been answered. But just before, to continue further with you, Frederick, you insisted on this sustainability point. How do you see the role of LoRaWAN driving forward the agenda of sustainability in water utilities?
Yeah, thanks, Davy. I think in the current pandemic, IoT is becoming even more important. So utilizing the IoT as an enabler, and LoRaWAN has a critical role in how resources can be effectively managed and, more crucially, eliminate wastage. And if you see the SDG goals, LoRaWAN as a solution has a key role in extending access to water on the SDG 6. Getting communities much more sustainable on the SDG 11 side, but to round it off, SDG 17, which is on collaboration and the open innovation framework that the LoRa Alliance provides, really encompasses the fundamentals of the sustainability goals and what it wants to achieve the water industry.
Thank you. Also, there is a question about Frost and Sullivan. This question is, what could be done for regions in Asia as water meter could be useful where there is water scarcity?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges in some of the key markets like South Asia is the challenge of 24/7 to get that up and running, to get smart water meters. But we see some really interesting customized solutions which are developed, say for example, for apartment blocks. So I think the solutions need to be really customized to the needs of those individual markets. But hopefully, with more investments being made on water services, 24/7, hopefully should be achieved in the next 5-6 years, especially in the markets like South Asia. And that will facilitate furthermore deployments of smart water meters there.
Yeah, and to add to that, there are also solutions that support prepayment or a valve control that can help authorities to manage water restriction program.
Exactly.
I know also in South Africa, it's a critical point.
Yeah, prepaid, exactly. Yeah.
To continue with Alberto, Alberto, you've spoken about your use cases in Lombardy. Between the two possible case, existing or new smart water meter, how do you make possible connectivity for both, either connecting an existing meter or substituting by a new smart meter?
Okay, we can manage the two possibilities. In fact, an utility can change the meter, all the meter with a new complete rollout of the smart meter, and we can test the communication performance of these new meters in our infrastructure and in our network server and application server layer. And so we can give tool for the provisioning of the meters on the network. We can also combine fixed network metering and walk-by smart metering to understand where is the points that we can manage better in the different way. But also for the recovering of the activity of the substitution, we can start to deploy the service using the old meters, adding the radio modules for these meters, and also some kinds of device such as Birdz to enable the communication with the network for these old meters.
Thank you, Alberto. There is also a question that was at the beginning of your speech. When there is a manhole with or water pit deep underground where the water meter must be installed, how about the LoRaWAN coverage under a metal manhole cover? And especially there was also another question about the distance, the maximum distance or something like.
Okay,
how do you plan this?
This is a good question for the water for the water company operatives. There is many cases in our territory of manhole installation and deep indoor installation. It depends about the planning of the network and also the configuration of the firmware of the smart meters. For me, the real good work to do is to test the situation and to understand the right position of a gateway and the right use of the network, because as you can know, a LoRaWAN network is a dynamic network, and we can manage this situation, but we can resolve all the situation with a LoRaWAN network if the network is correctly designed and developed. For the I think that this is the answer of your question.
Excellent, thank you. Now to Pierre-Emmanuel, you presented this innovation of LUKA. Could you tell us more about the overhead cost of the blockchain when added to your existing sensor?
Thank you, Remy. That's a good question indeed, because increasing the security of an IoT system comes at a cost. And well, in the case of water quality monitoring, between a CAPTA without LUKA and a CAPTA with LUKA, there is indeed an additional security cost. That overhead security cost would represent more or less plus 25% of the initial cost. If we break it down, it's more or less plus 30% in CapEx for material and around plus 21 for OpEx in service price. So in a nutshell, it's therefore very important that the end customer validates the benefit of having a more secure IoT solution before moving forward.
And just to challenge you, do you believe in perhaps long term, all water meters will have, for traceability of water consumption, all water meters will have a blockchain?
I think this is a crucial question, because with the traceability and authentication of data comes customer trust. So we've seen that this blockchain use case has been deployed for water quality. We've seen in the last couple of years that for other IoT use cases outside of water management, blockchain is making its way. So I think it should come, and this logically will be expanded to smart metering. Yes.
Okay, thank you for sharing the insights. I wanted also to talk to Swisscom as a national network operator in Switzerland. Adrian, could you tell us more about how you plan the network coverage? There was also a question about either a free tool, I guess, for network radio planning.
Yeah, that's a question we get often asked, how we plan our coverage, especially with all the mountains we have in our beautiful country. So we use a professional simulation tooling, as we also do for our mobile network, that considers all geographical reliefs, as well as the buildings and forests and so on. And another very important part is that we also have good locations for our gateways. So we can place them high up by using Swisscom broadcast locations and then place them on the masts. So with these locations, it's much easier to also cover difficult terrain. And about the free tool, to be honest, I don't know about that one, but I answered the question there in the Q&A. So we're working with a tool. It's called, the company is called ATDI. Yeah.
Okay, perhaps you can add that into the question chat box.
I did already, yeah.
Okay, perfectly fine. The other point I wanted to discuss with you is regarding the support of, I would say, the different technologies. As a network operator, having also, of course, cellular network, there was a question: how does LoRaWAN compare with NB-IoT in terms of coverage, deep indoor, and bidirectional throughput? I guess, Swisscom, first you could tackle that question, and Birdz also having made comparison between the two technologies.
Yeah, we have also started with NB-IoT, and the coverage is, I don't know exactly the number, how high it is, but also over 90%. But at the moment, we mostly work with LoRaWAN because we're much further with the technology. Yeah, with narrowband IoT, there still need to be some work done with all the modules and devices.
And regarding the throughput, regarding the deep indoor, will you have a deep indoor coverage too with NB-IoT?
Yes, not everywhere, but we'll say on most places.
And for Birdz, what is your opinion on the comparison between LoRaWAN and NB-IoT?
Well, I think these are two different IoT protocols that have specific characteristics. LoRaWAN would perhaps be more addressed to slow business and is very suitable for smart metering, water quality use cases. So, but I think they have complementary benefits and let's say functionalities. So with time, both IoT protocols, we're moving towards both IoT protocols and into being interoperable with these two IoT protocols.
Okay, thank you. In terms of solution that you have deployed today, Birdz, you have deployed the water meters available in LoRaWAN from different manufacturers. Could you share more the insights about what reference suppliers you have?
Yeah, sure. So for smart water metering, Birdz is working with basically all major water manufacturers, so including Itron, Deal, Elster, Honeywell, and various others. So basically we cover, I would say, 80 to 90% of the worldwide smart metering manufacturers.
And have you found with those suppliers and NB-IoT solution?
This is as part of the environmental IoT platform that Birdz is launching along with Veolia. We can integrate smart water metering projects for multi-devices on NB-IoT. This would come, that IoT, environmental IoT platform will be available to the market in September and will be including as well NB-IoT based IoT protocols.
So it's still for the future to see this technology to emerge with first coverage and also with a proposal of manufacturers. But we understand you're trying to get ready. I would say there is a question about automated action when measuring water quality. What is your action if the water quality is not good? Do you have any actors automated to improve the water quality?
Well, coming back to what I was presenting, there are various parameters that come into action when monitoring the water. Around 7 to 10 key parameters that were identified by the World Health Organization. So CAPTA and LUKA are monitoring these key parameters, including conductivity, temperature. So by design, monitoring these various key parameters on daily basis and in real time help our customers, and so municipalities and water utilities prevent the water deterioration. Well, this being said, on these two solutions, these two solutions provide a set of comprehensive data, dashboard, and alerting that help our customer taking automated actions in terms of dashboarding, alerting, and a set of comprehensive data that allow them to take instant actions.
Thank you. Now I wanted to ask question to both meter manufacturers, Aquametro and GWF. You have perhaps a business demand in America and LATAM. There are two questions about development at America. So I guess it's considering a network and also solution available. And especially in LATAM, have you representation in the South America? Sasha or Gregor?
Yes. So I can't answer directly for Latin America in specific, but for international sales, yes, we have contact. So if you're interested in water meter business, then please get me your contacts and we can get back to you.
Okay, so that's said for GWF.
Yeah, it's fast the same. We also have an international export department, which I'm not sure if we have partners there, but we can look how we handle that.
Good, good. In terms of network development or deployment in America, I'm translating the question. There are operators, Comcast, Senet, Charter, they have network deployments in America. We had a webinar with Senet some weeks ago about smart metering in North America. So they are an active player in that field. And also for South America, we can name American Tower, YEP, and others having activities in Brazil, Argentina, etc. You can contact me myself. I will facilitate. I think we are now exceeding the timing. I would say the panelists may provide one or more points if they feel there is a need to be covered. Otherwise, for the question that remain, we will tackle those offline.